Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I will give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kavadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect and the nation of Israel. Starting up with 144,000, which would be the ruling governing body in the kingdom of heaven. Right, with the 144,000, we be all men. Salakia. And a lot of the 1/3, which would be a large multitude in America, would be men, women, and children that be saved, right? 2/3 of people will be destroyed here in America, Babylon the Great. You also have a lot of the rebels that are scattered abroad in different countries that will be destroyed. You have some elect that's scattered abroad that will be saved, of who the world willingly and ignorantly calls so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, Guatemala, the Panamanians. I'm your brother YASHARAHLA coming back at y'all with a quick lesson from End Time Headlines. As y'all can see, it says, Salakia, Alaska advances AI-powered digital identity system, linking identity and payments. Right? If I'm not mistaken, Alaska is a state. It is, so it's a part of Babylon, right? Which is America. So this is going to be everywhere, man. You know, you're going to have a digital ID soon, right? You know, and it's going to be all linked up with the, you paying for stuff, you know. Esau moving forward with his plans, man. You know, things are happening. Let me get Habakkuk 2 in verse 3. It says, for the vision, talking about the prophecy is yet for the appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it because it will surely come and it will not tarry. We're in a time where things are speeding up. It may seem like from time to time things are moving slow, but they're definitely moving fast, right? But let me read the article a little bit. It says Alaska is pushing forward with an ambitious overhaul of its My Alaska digital ID platform. This is the first time I've heard of this, if I'm not mistaken. It says integrating agentic artificial intelligence and digital payment capabilities into a single system designed to act autonomously on behalf of residents. So it's going to be to do everything for you, right? You know, the state's Department of Administration, through its Office of Information Technology, has issued a request for information outlining this vision, right? So what's the purpose of it? What's their plans? It's about control, power, domination. It says the proposed system would enable AI software to automate government transactions, submit applications, and manage personal data, all with user consent. But when something's online, it ain't really in your hands no more. Once something's on the internet, it's always there. And we don't control the internet. You don't control the internet. Right? It says originally a basic login portal for tasks like applying for permanent fund, dividend or signing state forms. Right? It says My Alaska could transform into a comprehensive hub controlling identity verification, public services, and financial flows. You see? So you're gonna probably be able to have this to get on any website. You're going to probably be able to have this, which it's going to come to every state. It's going to come to the entire America. It's just one state, It's Alaska's one of the states that you kind of forget about. You don't really be thinking about it, It says key features include AI modules capable of reading documents, completing forms, verifying eligibility, and processing tokenized payments. This setup will allow machines to serve as proxies for citizens and interactions with the government agencies. You see? So you ain't gonna have no privacy, Which we already don't. Everything is already tracked except physical cash, or if you have ID that's not digital, which we still have those plastic IDs. Obviously, the only way they would know you would have that is if they, you in some type of place and they look at it, But this is his plan for everybody, right? You know, they want this for everybody, right? Ultimately, this is all leading to the CHIP, man. So let me get 2 Corinthians 2:11. So no matter how good this devil may make it seem, it's definitely leading to the CHIP. That's the purpose. It says, least Satan should get an advantage of us, but we are not ignorant of his devices. See, we know what's going on. Us men of the truth, let's have this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. We know and we see. You know, he has an ulterior motive. You know, he has an ulterior motive behind him. It ain't just about, you know, who you are. You know, it's about you making payments and him knowing everything you do. Right, but let me see down here. It says, although the proposal mandates it says explicit consent in cities, security measures like NIST compliance, audit trails, and adversarial testing, explainability tools, and human overrides, it offers scant details on enforcement or oversight. It says biometric authentication, including facial and fingerprint scans, as another dimension of data collection. It does, because they're gonna know exactly who you are from top to bottom. You know, instantly. Notorious for vulnerabilities to breaches and unauthorized use. But here's the thing: if you have something inside of you, aka the chip, they're gonna be able to know where you are at all times. Right? It says in subsequent phases, the system would expand to include digital payments and verifiable credentials such as mobile, driver license, professional certificates. You see, so like, what's professional certificates? Maybe like any certificates or forms you need to like prove that you can do this job, or you know, you have this experience. You know, all that stuff. You know, it says hunting and fishing permits and tokenized prepaid balances. So you already having an account, it's gonna be able to know all of that. These would adhere to W3C verifiable credentials and ISO 180, or no, it says I-80 135 standards, aligning with national mobile ID initiatives. You see, so this is all leading to the CHIP, man. Right, says this development positions Alaska within a larger U.S. movement towards, it says, interpretable digital identity systems. Privacy advocates caution that such platforms could foster persistent cross-agency surveillance. You see, which I'm not gonna read this whole thing. You know, I'm not gonna read all this. There's a lot to read, but you know, this man wants to control you, man. You know, at the end of the day, he wants to control you. He wants to know everything you're doing, and he wants you to take that CHIP, right? You know, he's doing all this to know what you're doing 24/7, and basically, it's about him being, you know, he think he's the Most High, right? You having a digital identity and everything being linked to this, you know, that you do throughout the day, you know, ain't nothing gonna be private, nothing, you know? You ain't gonna have no control over it, right? But that's why they ultimately want to put that chip in you. Let me get Revelations 13 in verse 16. It says that he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark of the beast, mark of the name of the beast, and the number of his name. You see, so no matter what position you are, no matter who you are, it's gonna be mandatory, man. You know, and it's gonna be everywhere. You know, I believe they're really gonna start pushing this in 2026, and we don't got until 2030. You know, the Lord said he would speed up the days for elect's sake. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Salakia. That's why these things are happening at a rapid pace. So, Jake, you got to turn to YASHAMIAHLA, man, before it's too late. It says Matthew 24 and 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. Right? And the only way you're going to be saved about not taking the seed when it do come out eventually is if you're a part of the elect. Right? You repented, you turned back to YASHAMIAHLA, you're gonna have the understanding of not taking it. Right? Knowing what it is, knowing their intentions. You know, the average person, they don't know the intentions of this devil. They see he's moving with gradualism, and they don't see the end game. Well, the end game is for him to control you, you know, fully, and to basically say that he's your guy and for you to accept it fully, right? So this is another prelude to it. So I hope this was edifying, right, to the Lord's elect, the Lord's sheep. You know, hey, pray for more faith. Jake, we almost up out of here. Things are moving, right? I'm talking to myself first and foremost. So I'm going to close out. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kawadash. Double honors to the elders of Boston Green Millstone. To next time, I want to say, Baba Ball, Shalom.